Hello, this is Jessie of Multisoft Corporation, your MLM solutions provider. This training video is going to provide you information and insight on how to change your content in a specific language. In this example, here I am in the page Our Story. This can be found here under the About dropdown, and then I just clicked here on Our Story. So my main focus is if I want to update this page in a different language. For example, if you have Spanish as a second language, you have the ability to update the content on your end or train your staff on how to update the pages in that language. So what you need to do is, of course, log in as an administrator, and then you go through any of these pages here. So I selected Our Story, and in Spanish it should be translated to Nuestra Historia. So I click on English. This is the language selector here on the header, and I'm going to select Spanish. So as long as you see here in the address bar, ES for Spanish, ES for the country code or whatever the case may be for your company, and then the page number. Now, we have the language selected here, so we also need to verify that. Then down here below, you need to go to drag and drop editor, which makes things easier for you and your team, or click on edit HTML, which is just a standard Telerik, what you see is what you get editor. So now let's say what happens if I click on drag and drop editor. How am I going to update the content here in Spanish? Now, the recommendation is not to use Google Translate when it comes to translating your content, because in most cases, Google Translate is not 100% accurate. So if you know someone that knows how to read, write, and speak the language correctly, then they could be hired to make those changes. Now, for example, I'm going to scroll down here, and let's say I want to change the content here. I'm going to use one of these snippets here on the right. Actually, I'm going to use a different snippet that has buttons. Drag this one here, and then we have buy now. I want to translate that to join now in Spanish. So I click on edit button, and if I want to change the background color and the text color, the border color, change the button size if I want, so that's optional. Change the font size, but I'm gonna make this simple. So I'm gonna change this to blue, and then change the text color. Actually, let's make sure that this is selected correctly. There we go. And then change the text color to white, and then no border color. Okay, and then border radius, want it to be with circles at the edges. Okay, so we're done with that. And then we click here on the link. This is where we're going to change the name of the button. So únete ahora, this means join now in Spanish. And then what you want to do is enter the page key for the page that you're pretty much redirecting or taking the user to a different page in the software. You are not going to copy the full URL of the page. That simply means that if you do that, then you're going to hard code the page. So what that means is that if someone clicks on that button in a replicated site, and what happens after that? Well, the user is going to leave the replicated site, and then they're going to the company site. So you never want to hard code a link for any occasion. Now, for any of the content that's here, all you need to do is, once again, search for the user that's going to make the change on the website that speaks and reads and writes Spanish or that specific language, and then make the change here. Okay, so if I want to replace this, then I could go ahead and make the change here. But once again, it is strongly suggested not to use Google Translate. If you insist to use Google Translate, then you would just need to have someone review all of the content in Spanish just to make sure that the content makes sense. But this is how you're going to go into the page, into the editor, make the changes within the drag and drop in the software. Now, if you use edit HTML, for example, same rules apply. Make sure you log in as an admin, and then you just go to the editor window and make sure you apply your changes. Okay, so this is your WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get, and then you just want to make sure that you change and update the content on your end. So this is just an example of what I'm doing here on my end. And then if you need to insert or upload images while you're here in the WYSIWYG editor, then of course you click here on Image Manager. This pop-up window will appear. And then you're going to click on Upload, so that way all of your images are uploaded here in the main folder, Images. And then just make sure that you remember that all of your images cannot exceed 2 megabytes. So they need to be less than 2 megabytes, and you can upload PNGs, JPEGs, BMPs, GIFs, or other users call it GIFs. Make sure you click on Select, browse to your computer, select the image. Once you see the green light here, means it's ready to be uploaded, and then you click on Upload. Now to find the image, I uploaded a JPEG, so what's being displayed here first is GIFs, then your PNGs, and then your JPEGs. So there's my image here. Now let's say I want this image to be aligned here. So I put my blinking cursor here at the beginning of the first word or sentence, go to Image Manager, select my image, click on Properties, and let's say I want this image to be aligned to the right. So I click on the Image Alignment drop down, select Right Alignment. Let's say I want a color around it, and then put the border width to 20 pixels wide, and then I'm gonna enter 20 pixels to the left for the margin or padding. So you're gonna see the results here. So this is the border color, and you notice that the image is now overlapping the text. Okay, so that's all you need to do and able to change the content for that specific language here in the MarketPowerPRO software. If you have any questions or any concerns about these training videos, please give us a call here at our office at 239-945-6433, or you can submit tickets to our help desk system by going to multisoft.bestdarncrm.com. Thank you.